Folks, welcome in live to sportsbookreview.com. This is your Friday Major League Baseball show. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz. We have a large Friday card to go over. A little bit of COVID cancellations for Jason's Mets. And I wish we had a COVID cancellation for my Philadelphia Phillies and their bullpen. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. We're going to here to provide some winners. A big card today. Jason, welcome into the show, brother. It's a big Friday.
Yeah, we got the guys in the back mowing the grass. So, that's how my Friday is starting. Don't want to be hearing that. So keep it short. But, yeah, the Mets now don't have any games over the weekend. That stinks for me, but, maybe we're on the right track. We were winning some games against the Marlins. Did save us against the Yankees, though. We don't have to face the Yankees yet, so maybe that saved us a little bit.
No, it could be a good thing here. And keep in mind, if you guys are hearing the mower in the background, Jason does live at Citi Field, so they're getting the field ready for when the Mets actually do take the field once again. But welcome into the chat box, Sammy, Gray, Creamo, Wheat Jones, Eric Rosa, Stacey, Ryan, Jonathan, Jermaine, D. James, Aaron, Martin. 85 people already watching 1 minute into the show. If you haven't done your job yet and that subscribe button is still red, flip it gray by pressing it and also turning on the notifications when Jason and I go live Monday through Friday right here on sportsbookreview.com. You'll get that information delivered to your inbox and come into the chat box and say hello. Why don't we get started? We don't have any time to waste here. 9:55, 9:56, Boston and Baltimore. Brewer versus Means. A 50-50 ticket split here. Over under actually sitting at 9.5. Now some 10s across the board here, Jason. But also, we had a slight favorite in Baltimore and Means. Open up around -111 offshore at SBRodds.com. That's flipped over to Boston at -116. And I'm going to keep it simple here. Worked yesterday. It should be able to work again. I'm going with the team total, the Boston Red Sox, over 4.5 in this game. We're looking at anything down at Oriole Park at Camden Yards today, Jason.
Yeah, this is a pretty bad matchup. John Means looked terrible. His last start versus the Nationals. I think he faced them twice in a row now. Lasted just 0.2 innings in that final start, where he got 3 earned runs on 4 hits, and then he was taken out of the game. Colin Brewer is not so much better this season, maybe a little bit, but only has started 1 game this season. So you expect him not to go too deep in this game, maybe 4 or 5 innings at most. So you're looking at the Orioles, maybe Means maybe goes a little bit deeper. Don't forget, he was an all-star pitcher last season as his rookie season. Hasn't pitched like that this season at all. Brewer making a second start of the season, doesn't have much hard contact, does walk plenty of batters, and the Orioles can definitely take advantage of that. So I like the over 9.5. If you're seeing 10, you can still take that as well. It's not official play for me, but looking at this pitching matchup, over 9.5 seems like a gift.
Amen here. D. James says, you guys rock, best show on the net. Perry McNeil, let's make some money. Jermaine Phillips must be related to Perry McNeil because he says also right below, let's get this money. Welcome into the chat box. We're going to have some fun breaking down all these games today. 9:57, 9:58, 7:05 start here on the East Coast. 8 out of 10 tickets here coming in on Milwaukee. And I'm going to make some changes here to the way I'm factoring into these best bet banker type bets because I was let down with a -105 yesterday. 1-0 through 5, 2-1 late in the game. All hell broke loose and an easy win for the Twins over the Milwaukee Brewers. But they're going to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates today. It's going to be Hauser versus Kuehl. 8 out of 10 tickets here, Jason, coming in on the Milwaukee Brewers. If we take a look across the board, they open up at 160. That's significantly come backwards now to 130, 135. If we're taking a look at some totals out here, 8.5s primarily, but you are getting 9s across the board. When I look at the stats for this year, when I take a look at Hauser, he can be hit by left-handed batters, which the Pirates will be able to throw a lot. But just because you put I'm left-handed batter. I'm 42 years old. Doesn't mean I can just get in and dominate against Hauser because I'm a left-handed batter. Nobody's done well from Pittsburgh. And then you look at the Milwaukee batters going up against right-handed pitching, which Chad Kuehl isn't a great pitcher by any stretch, but this lineup leaves a lot to be desired. You know what? I'm going to lean on the under 9 in this game, Jason. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, see, I took under 2.5 in the first 3 innings. Went right back to these Pirates and going the first 3 innings. What I was concerned about why I didn't go first 5 was because both these pitchers might not make it 5 innings, just because just how the pitchers are. They both these guys will have short leashes, and even if they perform well, they could come out of this game a little bit earlier. So for me, under 2.5 in the first 3, I do think both these pitchers have some strengths that could be exploited in this game. Look, you got Hauser here. 4.76 FIP, but Hauser's a guy that gets a lot of ground balls, gets low hard contact, solid strikeout percentage. against the Pirates that have a pretty bad offense. I mean, that's pretty exciting. Look, yeah, it does get high walks at times, but Hauser could get those ground balls, have a solid strikeout percentage, and get through those first 3 innings. On the other hand, you have Chad Cole. This guy, he allows hard contact, low ground balls. He has a high strikeout percentage and swinging strike percentage as well. So with Cole, you're looking at potentially the Brewers, who strike out a ton, strike out enough in the first 3 innings, get this game to go under 2.5 in the first 3 innings. I even lean towards the Pirates at plus 125 as value play.
How about this? Jeremy Middlebrook says, Jason, Donnie, Jason, I'm up a couple units thanks to Slam Diego. Show me the money. And hey, I'm a team total over guy. It's very nice when a team nightly needs one swing of the bat to basically hit their team total. So I certainly support what San Diego's doing. We'll take a look at their game also a little bit later. Thanks for the show. Sabino says, let's get this money. Seems like that's the hashtag of the day. Let's get this money. Let's move down to 961, 962 down in hot Atlanta tonight. Nola and Fried will be on the mound. A 50-50 ticket split. The Atlanta Braves opened up as a favorite of minus 120. It's roughly a pick 'em now across the board and at 8s. Look, the Philadelphia Phillies are going to be able to stack right-handed bats against Fried. Doesn't mean they're going to be able to hit tonight, but also Aaron Nola has been untouchable on the season. Am I right to believe here, taking a look at an 8, even though that is a hitter's ballpark, both of these pitchers should go deep 5, 6, 7 innings. It's just a matter of Nola needs to go 7.5 to 8 innings in this game to give the Philadelphia Phillies a chance. I do want to back Nola here. I want to back the Philadelphia Phillies here, but after seeing this weekend's games or the past couple of games, if Nola doesn't go 8 innings, 1 earned run, this is going to be a tough one for the Phillies to win. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lean on the under in Atlanta today. Under 8 for me, Jason. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, so I'm looking at under 4.5 in the first 5 innings. So we're on the same page in this one. But, you know, the Phillies, they're coming off a doubleheader, both lost, right? And now they're going to Atlanta. Excuse me. I think they're going to struggle just a little bit offensively to start this game. Then you go on the other hand, you have Braves. They had an off day. They might come into this game a little out of rhythm and struggle early offensively as well. Fried and Nola both have been incredible pitchers. Nola, a 2.25 FIP. Nola, he went 8 innings, allowed just 2 hits and 1 run with 10 strikeouts versus the Braves earlier this season. Max Fried, he hits a high amount of ground balls, limits his walks really well. He's allowed just 1 earned run in 17.1 innings pitched. And like I said, the Phillies are coming off that doubleheader, and we shouldn't even talk about that anymore. But, yeah, the Phillies had some offense in that final game, but, you know, the reality is they're going to be a little bit tired coming to Atlanta after a doubleheader. I don't think their offense really performs in this one. 2 great pitchers on the mound, two lineups that, would seem to be struggling in matchups like these where you have doubleheader and a team that's out of rhythm from an off day. So, yeah, I look at this like a pitcher's duel, and I'm excited to watch this one.
Mark Bullitt says, Jason and Donnie, happy Friday. Cream of Wheat Jones says, how about a strikeout bet for Nola? I don't have the actual numbers for Nola on a strikeout bet. What would you say? Maybe 6.5 for Nola, I guess, or 7 would be something around that range. Any ideas on that, Jason, what that might look like and if that might even be a decent play tonight?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, look, he had 10 strikeouts in his last start, but he did go deep in that game, right? Against the Phillies one, or against the Braves, I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he went deep in the game. So, you know, like Donnie said, if Noah is able to go deep in this game, he should easily get his strikeout total. And I think we both expect Noah to go deep and Fried to go deep as well. So in a pitcher's duel where you probably will get a lot of strikeouts, and I would think that's a good play. I don't know what the number is. I'm looking for it right now. But yeah, if it's around 6.5, it definitely seems like a great play there. So yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be. I'm seeing if he has 8 strikeouts, he gets the plus 125. So probably around 7.5 around there, depending on the juice. So yeah, I would agree with it. Noah's been really good. Obviously, his strikeout rate is really high to start the season. He's been good.
When you take a look at that also, Jason, because I know like we're numbers guys. We like to see what it is, who's going to bat against what, but sometimes the human element does play into it. When you have 2 embarrassing losses where the bullpen blew both games against the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday, your ace is on the mound. Doesn't he have that understanding like this isn't going to happen tonight? I'm looking at a complete game. If you let me go, I'll throw 110 plus pitches, which again, if you're looking at a strikeout combo, this isn't one that says, hey, get in, get out. Let's have the lead after 6 and hand it over to our dominant bullpen. This to me feels like I'm Nola, I'm the ace, I'm pitching well, just let me rip at it. So it does seem like a pretty good shot, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, he has an xFIP of 1.89. He's
Man,
been incredible all season long.
yeah.
Going up against the Braves team that, offensively, they're not really, they're struggling a little bit as well. The Phillies aren't struggling, but they're going to struggle in this one. Number one against Max Fried, who, again, like you said, Nola's the ace for the Phillies. Fried is now the ace for the Braves. They lost Soroka. Bolte's gone. He's the guy that needs to step up for the Braves team if they want a shot at winning this division as well. And obviously the Marlins are falling a little bit, so now it's really anyone's division at this point. The Mets are now, we'll have a couple double headers later in the season against the Yankees that you could basically write off for the Mets. So, I mean, this is a series where, you have the Braves and Phillies. I mean, whoever wins the series is looking at the top spot in the NL East. So this is a big series, a big game to start the series between these two ace pitchers. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. It's going to be under for me.
Rob Cook says, agree on the Giants team total over tonight. A great play. So looking that way, I think it's a decent play as well already off the bat. And it was an unbelievable. Me and Jason were talking about the end of the show yesterday. You can't get enough of San Francisco team total overs last night. The stars aligned for that one, and it was over pretty quickly. And those are always nice to see. So good on that. And Sheen Taylor says, hey, Donnie, Jason, happy Friday. Let's get paid. Well, let's keep it moving here. Minnesota and Kansas City, 965, 966. Odorizzi and Duffy, 6 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on the Minnesota Twins. They opened up at 138. Now they sit in that mid-40 range. Chris at minus 145, 5 dimes offshore at minus 143, and also a total of 9. Now, here's the interesting part of me. You know me. I'm a big over-type guy, but the same type of setup that I see in this game just says, you know what? It looks like an under. I'm looking at that lineup for the Minnesota Twins, which is very good, but a lefties on the mound. They haven't hit lefties all that well, and then you turn it over to Kansas City going against Odorizzi, who, again, does let up some hits from the right side for batters, but it's not a great hitting lineup against right-handed pitching either. I'm going to go with the under 9. I mean, look, I don't know. Maybe it's Friday. Maybe I'm just off my rocker, but I'm leaning towards unders a lot today, Jason. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, and I think on Fridays when we come in, to these series, I do think we see a bunch of unders. Now, I don't know what the actual under-over for Fridays are, but I would assume coming into a series over the weekend, most of these weekend games, especially this weekend, are rivals, teams that are close with each other, and have some bad blood against each other. So looking at, these teams want to win these games and coming in. I think Friday games are an under type of day, especially on Fridays. But yeah, I mean, I think it's also an underdog kind of day as well. I like the Royals here at plus 125 in this game. Danny Duffy's been a lot better than Odorizzi. Of course, Odorizzi just has 2 starts under his belt, so a small sample size for him this season, but he hasn't looked good. And both those 2 starts were against the Royals already, where he had multiple runs and didn't go too many innings. I don't think he went further than 4 innings in either of those starts. So you look at the Royals maybe jumping out to an early lead. Maybe look at the Royals' first 5 on the money line, or even plus 0.5 in the first 5 innings. There's different things that you can look at with the Royals here. I just don't think Odorizzi has it this season. The guy, he gets low ground ball rate, high contact rate. Nothing too special about Odorizzi.
No, I hear you on that. So I'm just going to lean toward an over in that one. There's an interesting one coming up here because, a couple people in the chat are saying, Donnie, what'd you put in your coffee? You're leaning on you're leaning on unders as opposed to overs. Hey, if that's what the bell is ringing, I'm going to certainly answer it and say, let me see how I can make some money on that. But here's another one that I'm going to flip the script back to what I like doing best. And that's taking a look at some overs, 973, 974, Houston and San Diego, Richards and McCullers on the mound, 6 out of every 10 tickets here. Actually coming on the road team here, the Houston Astros. They open up a minus 110, but how about this? Now we're at 130s, 140s, 135s as a favorite for the San Diego Padres. Over across the board, opened up at 8. That now sits at 9. And I look at the matchup here. Lance McCullers off his injury this year, not so good so far. And you're looking at a team that's really hot. I'm going to ride the hot hand. San Diego team total over 4.5, which I'm getting at a plus 115 right now at 5 dimes. I'm going to say, hey, you know what? If you're going to hit another grand slam tonight, Jason, I need a half of a run from somewhere else. I'm going San Diego here. How about you?
Yeah, like you said, McCullers, he's on the mound for the Astros, and this guy, he's such a mixed bag. It's hard to figure him out. A guy with a high ground ball rate, but again, he can walk plenty, gives up hard contact when the ball is in play, even though a lot of it's on the ground. It's still hard contact. Ground balls that go for singles or doubles down the line. It's not they're hard balls that fielders can't really field. Even though he has that high ground ball rate, they're still tough ground balls to get in between shortstop, third base, in between first baseman, second baseman, down the line. There's those ground balls are not really easy plays when you're looking at it. But McCullers, he's a guy. He's allowed 2 earned runs in his last 2 starts, 12 strikeouts, 3 walks. Had no hitter against the Giants for half of that game. He's so hard to figure out, but like he still allowed 22 hits and 26.1 innings pitched. So if you take out that like game versus the Giants and maybe even that game against the Mariners, where the Mariners aren't that great of an offense, McCullers doesn't look nearly as good. So I mean, against the Padres offense that's really been surging at this point, I think the Padres have the edge here. I look at them at -120 and over 9. I think Garrett Richards is a guy. He's a guy that's an average pitcher at best, but what he'll do is he'll obviously throw less walks, and he has his FIP is a little bit lower. ERA is definitely a little bit lower, and he has he's good. He's allowed 3 earned runs in his last 13 innings pitched versus the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Those are 2 solid offenses. The Diamondbacks struggling a little bit now offensively, but at that time they were surging offensively as well. So yeah, I mean, I would look at the Padres here at -120.
It's interesting too because we joked about, or at least I was just riding on the Houston Astros for not able to get their offense going. They go out to Coors and it seems like all hell's breaking loose. Now you roll it over to San Diego, so maybe we get 2 hot offenses, and that over 9 should be able to overcome. Because Daniel Pacheco here in the chat box says Astros team total as a safer play. Could be. Look, 2 of these offenses look really good. Not a super dominant pitchers on the mound. It still is and always will be out there in San Diego a pitcher's ballpark, but hey, both these offenses are hot. I think it could get over the total. I just feel more comfortable right now with San Diego at home. I think they can get to McCullers as he struggles. Now, the one thing I did struggle with this game and taking a look at, as opposed to going first 5 team total over, because Houston does have a pretty good back end, but I'm just going to ride that hot hand, Jason, and go with the San Diego Padres in this game, see how it holds up with the team total. And again, it's 4.5, and I'm getting a +115, so almost a nice little dog price here. 975, 976. Heaney, the lefty, will be on the mound today for the Angels versus the Oakland Athletics. Mike Fiers, 7 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on the Oakland Athletics. They opened up as a -125 favorite. Jason, now I'm looking at -115s, -118s in the favor of the Angels, and an over-under that opened up at 9 and now sits at 10, and I completely agree with it. I don't really like betting on the Los Angeles Angels because it just seems they can't get out of their way. But even last night, if you took a team total on the Angels, you picked that up with a 5-run game when you only needed the 4.5. I'm going to go back to the well today, but I also want to center it on just going against Mike Fiers, who's been terrible this year. So I'm going to go the Angels team total over 2.5, -125 in the first 5 innings. If they can get the 3 runs over the first 5, it's a winner. But let's just say they didn't. Oakland's bullpen's pretty good, might be able to shut them down. I'm just going to put this out there. I'm going the Angels bats versus Mike Fiers, and I'll let it sit there after 5 to see if I can pick up a win here.
Yeah, I love that play. I'm on the Angels first 5 on the money line, which is around -129. So it's the same thing. I'd love to get 3 runs from the Angels in the first 5 innings.
Yeah.
I think that'll be fine. Look, the Angels, when you talk about that ticket split, it's pretty intriguing and interesting. Right here, obviously the Angels, their pitching has not been really good. Even Bundy struggled in his last start. But Andrew Heaney's a guy, he came into the season as the Angels' 8th pitcher, right? Right now, a 2.71 FIP in 5 games this season. He's looked really good, a little bit unlucky, of course, but he's looked good, does have solid strikeout numbers, and we know the Athletics, their offense, they like to strike out a bunch of times. Heaney, 9.1 strikeouts per 9 innings, 3.28 walks, which is obviously the one concerning thing from Heaney. But the last time he faced Oakland, he went 4.2 innings, allowed 2 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts, and no walks. It was on opening day for him against the Athletics. Fiers, he's faced the Angels twice already this season. He's allowed 7 earned runs on 14 hits and 8 innings pitched. He's on 4 innings or less versus the Angels in those 2 games. I love the Angels here. First 5 money line -129. You could of course look at taking -0.5 for the Angels in the first 5. You could look at the team total, obviously, at 2.5 in the first 5. We just don't want to look at the Angels bullpen. So we're just knocking out that bullpen and just saying Angels first 5 against Mike Fiers, who's a guy that I think you guys realize I fade him every single time. He's striking out just 3.86 batters per 9 innings and getting hit pretty hard with 2.45 homers per 9 innings as well. So he's the guy with a 6.51 FIP going up against Andrew Heaney with a 2.71 FIP. That's a 4-point gap right there between the 2 pitchers. And the Angels, that middle of the lineup has some power, like especially against Fiers. You look at Trout, Rendon, they got some power. Even Pujols, I think, performs well versus Fiers. this season and beyond. So, yeah, 100% on the Angels F5 money line -129.
Yep, long as the Mike Trout doesn't get his head thrown at again, which San Francisco Giants seemingly like to do on a night-to-night basis. I do like that. I just wanted to say, you know what? Forget about bullpens. I know Fiers has been struggling. If the Angels don't get 3 runs off Fiers over the first 5 innings, there's a pretty good chance they wouldn't get their team total anyway, and that's the way I'm going to look at it and stick there. 977, 978, Colorado and the Dodgers. Rockies-Dodgers matchup, Gray versus Buehler. 8 out of every 10 tickets here coming on the Dodgers. That's like a broken record each and every day, and you're looking at a $2 price at opening, -210. Now we're sitting at 235, 240s at some outlets across the board, and a total that opened up at 9, now sitting at 9.5. Now, look, I like Walker Buehler. Actually, before the season, let me throw a flyer on here and see if he can win the Cy Young Award for the National League. That's not going to happen now. But when you look at numbers, you eventually expect him to bounce back. But 19 innings pitched on the year so far, striking out 8 per 9 innings, which you would like to see that a little bit higher coming from him. But the problem is a 5.21 ERA matches up with his 5.34 xFIP on the season. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the road team, the Colorado Rockies, not to win, because stepping in front of the Dodgers is always a tough thing to do. But I think the team total is cheap here just to isolate the Rockies bats versus Walker Buehler. I'm going to go team total Colorado over in the first 5 innings at 1.5, -125. I think the Rockies can get 2 runs off him. And if you look at any of his last outings on the season, that is certainly doable. 2 runs, 1 swing of the bat. Give me that money. I'm not going to tempt it full game. I just want to go up against Walker Buehler. What are you thinking here in this game, Jason?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the nail, because Walker Buehler, he's allowed 11 earned runs, 12 runs in 18 innings pitched, 9 walks, and 5 home runs. So basically, you're banking on 1 walk and 1 homer, and you get the first 5 innings. And that's really what Buehler has done all season long. 5 home runs in 4 games, 9 walks in 4 games. Not the Walker Buehler we're used to seeing. I think that maybe his walk rate goes down just a bit. I think, you'd hope at this point, for Buehler's sake, because he's walking way too many batters, allowing way too many home runs that he's not used to. But this is a Rockies team that's really impressed throughout the entire season, and not just at Coors Field, but the entire season. They've looked good offensively. They have some pitching that's been really good as well. I think the line is a little crazy for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Do I think that Buehler bounces back and has the better performance than he has? Yeah, I do. But I don't know, if I'm going to put money on it and say, yeah, Dodgers -1.5, because I'm definitely not taking the money line. So I'm not touching this game. Obviously, I have a bunch of concerns. For your sake, I hope that the Rockies get that walk and home run in the first 5 innings, though.
All right, Nick, we're going to open up now to the floor. Got through our pick 5, pick 6, pick 7s, whatever you want to call it here. Now we're going to have some fun and hit the turbo speed burst button. I'm looking at one thing that looks like a change here. I had Castano as a starter for Miami. Jason, are you showing Hernandez now the starter for Miami today, or you still have it as Castano here?
Yeah, it's going to be Hernandez versus Corbin, it looks like.
Gotcha. So that's going to change up. I have to retake a look at that. But Corbin's on the mound, the lefty, 6 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on the Nationals. They open up as a $2 favorite, but now sitting below that, roughly at that 190 level. If we take a look at the opening of 9, that's now down to 8.5. I didn't cap it with Hernandez being the pitching prospect in this game, but it's an expensive number for Corbin. And this is the air out of the bubble finally for the Marlins. And they say, yeah, we're that 100-loss type team we've always been. We were just hanging on with a little bit of an adrenaline, because it looks like it's certainly that way. Or at least the Mets beat it right out of them, certainly.
Yeah, and this is going to be a weird situation for the Marlins now. But Hernandez, he has a 1.84 ERA and a 2.23 FIP through 3 games started this season for the Marlins. So you look at the pitching matchup and you're like, oh, Corbin easily can win this game. But then you look at the WAR. Well, both guys have 0.6 WARs, right? Corbin coming off a brutal outing in his last start, allowed like 5 or 6 runs in that game against the Orioles in just 5 innings. Again, obviously the Orioles are a good offense, but coming into the season, we thought the Marlins and the Orioles were bad offenses. So the Marlins have also, overperformed as well. Yeah, it's a tough one for me. I think Marlins have more value here at plus 170. I don't look at under 8.5. I do think Corbin gets back on track, and I do think Hernandez is a good pitcher.
And also, by the way, guys, if you just came in here, 240 people are watching right now. Oh my God, did Jason and Donnie talk about the Atlanta Phillies game? Have no fear. Click on the link below, sbrpicks.com/MLB after the show. You can catch the entire replay there, all the stuff you're going to need to make yourself a better Major League better, including all Jason's picks and prognostications in writing. You can't get any better than that. When you click on the link, it doesn't even cost you any money to do so. So always check it out, especially after the show if you have missed it here. Let's keep going down. 9:53, 9:54, Toronto and Tampa Bay. Toronto feeling good. All of a sudden seeing beat writers in Toronto saying, hey, 11 days to the trade deadline. Let's beef off and make a playoff run. Thanks to my Philadelphia Phillies, but it's Schumacher and Yarbrough on the mound today. 159 is a favorite opening for the Tampa Rays. That now sits at 145s across the board. Highs 150, and also a total of 8.5. Is it one thing where we say, hey, Toronto's going to ride the good wave here to sweep in the Phillies, but I see Yarbrough as the better pitcher today. I like that Tampa Bay offense. I like the Tampa Bay Rays team total to go over in this one, even though not really in a hitter's ballpark down there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and like you look at Matt Shoemaker, right? This guy, he's a high swinging strike, but also hard contact rate. The Rays have a high weighted on batting average as well. The Jays have actually lost every single game that Shoemaker has pitched this season. So I mean, what does that tell you, right? But on the other hand, Yarbrough, he's also 0-2 on the season, so it's not like he's been perfect either. He limits walks and hard contact, but you won't get a high amount of strikeouts either. He struggled to go deep in the last 2 starts for the Rays, but they've also won those 2 games that he didn't go deep. So I guess that kind of shows what the Rays bullpen is all about as well. I think after the Blue Jays coming off a doubleheader and the Rays are pretty hot right now, on both ends of the spectrum, I like the Rays here at -150. I don't have an official play on it. Maybe it becomes one. Still thinking about it. I got to look at that one, just like I looked at the Giants last night or yesterday, and then they hit on the show, made that play. So this might be another play on the show that I'll look at. I just don't like Shoemaker. I think Yarbrough is a lot better, but his strikeout rate is the only thing that really kind of concerns me a little bit.
Teaser alert. Always follow at Jason_Radowitz on Twitter to see if he updates that later in the day. 9:59, 9:60, Detroit and Cleveland. Fulmer versus Plutko. This seems like one of those matchups where I get a lot, and I watch Twitter a lot, the chat box a lot, and people saying, why did I take the Cleveland run line? Why did I take Cleveland's team total in this one? Because you just feel they're going to win 1-0, 2-1, not do enough on the base paths. Because when you take a look at Fulmer, they should be able to hit him. You got all those switch hitters up top. You can match up righty, lefties versus him, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But when I look at this game, I just keep it simple. I think the Detroit Tigers offense is very underwhelming. So I just like to keep it, say, you know what, the better team, I think the Indians can scratch out a run or two. I'll take up on the run line first 5 innings, -0.5 a run. I think they'll be up at the end of 5 innings. I'm not going to tempt fate and say I need 5 runs total. Just give me 2 or 3 runs in the first 5 innings. I think they can get it done here. I'll take the run line first 5 here.
Yeah, so like you look at Fulmer's stats, right, and you're just like, it's really intriguing because he's actually struggling versus righties this season. And then you look at the top of the order for the Indians, and they're all going to be on the left side, where Fulmer has a .250 batting average. So it's really intriguing, because you have all the switch hitters now. There's no righties on the top of the order, where that's where he struggled a little bit. So, for me, I think obviously the Indians have already hit Fulmer before. They hit 3 home runs in their last game against him. So I'm not too worried. I still like the Indians in this game. Not saying Plutko is much better, but definitely better than Fulmer. That's why I'm kind of staying away from this game. The righties are hitting .471 versus Fulmer. And like all the guys are going to be hitting lefty against the righty. So that's what kind of gets to me a little bit. But yeah, his last start versus the Indians was 2.2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. Didn't look great at all. So I'm not going to trust Fulmer in this spot. He's a guy with a high Sierra, low strikeout rate, low ground ball rate, high contact rate. So I put all that together. It's a big yikes for me. So I'd be on Plutko, even though I'm not really a big Plutko fan. So Indians there, but I'm staying away.
We'll hit 2 more games here on the card. And Leroy Flood says, Donnie, what do you guys think about that Cubs game? Ask and you shall receive. 967, 968, the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Cubs. Not playing on the south side. We are playing on the north side today. So that'll be a Cubs home game in Wrigley. And we've seen the past couple of games at Wrigley Field, the wind blowing in. It's blowing out today. Not, 20 miles an hour, but at a decent enough clip, 8 to 10 miles an hour, where it's better blowing out than obviously in. Keuchel and Lester, both lefties, will match up. 7 out of every 10 tickets coming in on the Chicago Cubs. Cubs. The Cubs opened up as the -110 favorite, but now I'm seeing it switch over to the Chicago White Sox and Dallas Keuchel. Over on this one opened up at 9, now sits at 9.5. Two really good lineups here that can go up against left-handed pitching. And I got to tell you, I'm actually leaning towards Keuchel. I don't have an official play, but I'm going to lean towards Keuchel in this game. I think that lineup of the Chicago White Sox can load up 8 to 9 right-handed batters and really get after John Lester. It's tough to go against the Cubs, especially being at home, roughly a pick'em, but I'm feeling trusting Keuchel a little bit better than Lester right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a fun game. Two Chicago teams, obviously rivalry. Wish we had that New York rivalry as well, but we'll just stick with Chicago, whatever. But yeah, that's why I'm staying away from this game. It's a really fun matchup between two lefties that have really performed this year. Obviously, Lester struggled a bit in his last start, but he was really good before that game. And then Keuchel, again, he's the guy with really great ground ball rate. He's been looking really good with a 3.53 FIP and a 3.07 ERA. Lester, 2.74 ERA, a 4.38 FIP. Both these guys not striking out too many batters, so there's going to be balls in play, but they're getting, solid, not hard contact between these guys, getting ground balls. It's going to be a fun matchup. That's all I can say. I'm not touching this game. Excited for this one. Chicago versus Chicago, lefty versus lefty. Fun game for me.
One last game here. I lost my pick 5 game yesterday on this one. I had the under in the Cincinnati game, and they just fell apart in the 9th inning, gave up 3 runs, able to push that game over the total. But also I wanted to pick this game out because it was an interesting matchup because I like to see bounce backs. You saw DeSclafani open the season 2 games, no earned runs, then get obliterated by a team that had no business obliterating him. I believe he gave up, I want to say, was it 9? Was it 9 runs that he gave up? He got absolutely annihilated, and we'll see if he bounces back today. DeSclafani versus Dakota Hudson, 50-50 ticket split, opened up as a slight favorite towards the Reds. That's now flipped over to St. Louis at -114. That's the way I'm leaning there. So, look, I like a good bounce back start, but I was so disturbed in the last game. I'm going to lean towards the home team here at a short price. Any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think DeSclafani's going to have obviously rebound from that start. I think he's the better pitcher here. Dakota Hudson's really hard to figure out because this is a guy, he got the great ground ball rate, right? But he gets also a high walk rate and allows hard contact as well. Tough guy to figure out because, even if he's getting those ground balls, he's definitely walking batters. Obviously, that means that, there's more chances for double plays, but you don't really want to be put in that situation where you need to get double plays every single inning as well. And they are hard ground balls, of course, so easy to, if fielded properly, easy to turn that double play as well. But yeah, I mean, both these pitchers, Hudson, 5.28 FIP through 2 games. DeSclafani, a 5.43 FIP through 3 games. I look at the over 9 in this one for this game. Obviously, DeSclafani allowed that in 2 innings in his last start. Don't think that happens this one, but the Cardinals, they've been a good offensive team since coming back from their COVID off time. So, yeah, I'm looking at this game as an over 9, but I do think DeSclafani returns to form just a little bit more than Hudson does. So, if I had to put my money on it, I'd look at the Reds here, but I do think both starters kind of don't have great outings.
250 people watching live. We got through almost all the baseball card in 30 minutes, but it is a Friday. It's time to get out of here, but we want to lead you with some money in your pocket. I took money out of my own pocket last night with my -105 loss on the Milwaukee Brewers. Jason, I saw popping off last night because we had some late inning magic, which is always fun because it doesn't matter how you found the money as long as you find the money. Today, I'm going to go with a 5-pack here and shake it up a little bit because I'm tired of giving away the money on the actual one banker when the other ones are cashing in. So I'll rip it right down. I'm going to go the Boston team total over 4.5 for the game. Minnesota and Kansas City under 9. San Diego's team total over 4.5 plus 115. Also going to go with 2 first inning wagers. The Angels team total over 2.5 in the first 5. And also the Colorado team total in the first 5 over 1.5. That's a guaranteed 3-2. Jason, take it away.
I like that a lot. So yeah, we're going to go under 2.5 in the first 3 innings for the Brewers and Pirates. Of course, if you don't have the first 3, the next best thing is first 5, but make sure you get 5, not 4.5, because 2.5 plus 2.5 equals 5. Don't get that 4.5 and get killed by the books by making that mistake. So get that 5 for the first 5 if you're going to do that play instead of my play, which is under 2.5 in the first 3 innings. I know DraftKings and other sites like that have the first 3. I'm not sure about those offshore books, but I'm sure a couple of them do. So definitely look for that before just saying, just not taking it, because I think that's the better play than worry about first 5. The Phillies versus Braves under 4.5 at -110 in the first 5 innings. Nola versus Fried, and a really exciting game for both pitchers. That is going to be an exciting game. And then my banker and my official play will be the Angels first 5 on the money line at -129. Again, Donnie has that game 2.5 over for the Angels in the first 5 innings. So we're both on the Angels heavy for this game. This is my banker of the day. So definitely, if you're looking for just one play to make out of the show, it's probably the Angels in the first 5 innings.
Trout will homer in the first 5 innings and carry me and Jason to a victory. Well, I'll tell you who carried us this week, the chat box out there. Another week in the books, Monday through Friday. We do it each and every week, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to have some fun this weekend. Look, if you're not following the channels right now, big things in the NBA. I saw a flash with a soccer show this morning. Both myself and Kyle Provides this evening, 4 o'clock Eastern time, at least the evening, so to speak, on the East Coast. Going to do a little bit of NFL football talk, college football kicking off as well with Chris and Gary. A lot of good things are going on the channels, but this is baseball. Another nice week in the books. Jason and I will be back on Monday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, breaking it all down again. And for all of us at sportsbookview.com, this was your Major League Baseball show.